All right, shut up. Hi there, welcome to Cinema Blind Spots. I'm William.
I'm Chris.
And today we're going to be checking out a movie from Jim Henson called The Dark Crystal. I've seen this film, Chris is not.
No.
I am not the hugest fan of it, despite the fact that I love Jim Henson, I love puppetry, I love The Muppets, I love Labyrinth, but for some reason this movie never really hit home to me, and so we're going to discuss that today. So Chris, what did you think about this movie?
I loved it.
You loved it.
I thought it was great.
No earthling ever escaped from my deadly garden.
I understand why I didn't see it when I was a kid, because it would have been way too scary. Like the Skeksis were just like...
Oh, it's the stuff of nightmares.
Yeah.
Trial by storm!
And even all of the characters, even, Jen is like, he's weird looking.
My name is Jen.
His lack of features is more off-putting than the Skeksis bird, dragon, crocodile thing.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, one of my favorite movies growing up was Never-Ending Story. It's in that same vein. It's that same sort of genre and just look, and just something that like is not going to be recreated today in a way.
Completely agree.
You know what I mean? And for better and worse. I still loved it for what it was and what they were trying to do, and understanding like how hard it must have been to do that.
Right.
Like that's incredible. Like the amount of time that must have taken to do that. It's like,
I like that you used that phrase, what they were trying to do, because that is my biggest problem with this film. Its production is amazing, and the puppetry work is outstanding. It's unlike anything that's been seen. Jim Henson was really trying to do something that was not the Muppets, that was not traditional puppetry. He was trying to do something different. I feel like the end result is not quite up to the efforts that the people who were making it put it in there, but I like that you said that you saw what they were trying to do, and I definitely feel that way too.
I think one of your criticisms of it, which you didn't particularly care for, which you said that you liked about Labyrinth, was how they had human actors in it.
Right.
With Dark Crystal, with the main character is like kind of the most stiff looking,
Yes.
I understand that, but at the same time, it's a puppet movie.
Right.
He's a puppet, everyone's a puppet. I'm okay with that. I don't know, I just kind of got swept in. They built like this whole kind of crazy world.
The world building is amazing in the film. The entire film is shot on a stage, but yet it's totally in nature, and they do that because then you see those things like those flowers that just kind of take off, or you see when Jen is climbing the mountain and you see like those orange tendril things and they just kind of retract back. It really does create this wonderful world.
All those little gags that they have going on, it seems like every scene they kind of kept up with, coming up with new ones. What did you think of it, since you're such a big Jim Henson fan? You're a big Muppets fan. You should have worn your Muppet shirt. Why didn't you wear the Muppet shirt?
I did find this interesting as a Jim Henson fan because he was an experimental filmmaker. He wanted to be an experimental filmmaker. He always saw puppetry as a place for experimental filmmaking. He kind of got placed into that box because of the Muppets as being like family friendly, even though the Muppets did kind of have adult humor. It was family friendly. But he kind of got placed in that with Sesame Street, and I think Dark Crystal was him trying to break out of that mold, show that puppetry could be seen as something more serious. Animatronics, that kind of work can be seen, something more adult. I think he overstepped his bounds on this a little bit. I think today it would have been absolutely amazing.
Well, we'll see what they can do, like how it looks with the new Netflix series,
Right.
like what kind of advancements they've made.
Right, and even in terms of like we've seen with Spike Jonze doing Where the Wild Things Are, and all the wild things are done entirely with puppet bodies, and then they CGI'd the face so they could be more expressive. I feel like that could have been a real benefit for this.
What can you do with puppets? Can you tell a serious fantasy story with just puppets? I think that's what was so fascinating for me, at least watching this. It's not really geared towards kids. Like they were aiming for the same sort of general summer audience as like Close Encounters or Raiders of the Lost Ark.
See, I think it is a kid's film. I think it's very much a kid's film. I kind of disagree with you on that. I think it's a kid's film, but it's scary. And we talked about how all these creatures are a stuff of nightmare and things like that. And I think we've misplaced in children's movies a part where it is scary and the world is scary. And I remember being terrified of the devil in Fantasia, Or when Maleficent turns into a dragon in Sleeping Beauty when I was a kid. Like, there's a point where it's okay to scare kids as long as you show them a happy ending. They can be scared during the journey. And I think this is very much in play with that. I would say watch Neverending Story over Dark Crystal. And that's kind
I
of
would say that
love
too.
puppets.
I would just say that, yeah, this is the same sort of deal. I remember hearing about how this was kind of a big miss or kind of like a failure. And watching this, I just didn't get that at all. I thought it was a success in every way. He's pushing the limits of what, puppetry could do at the time. I am more than okay with the end result. Like, I don't know, I just really loved it.
It deserves its like cult status. I'll show this, I'll show Labyrinth to my kids.
I'll show this movie to other people's kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.
Yes, thank you very much.
Cheers.
Cheers.